We chose Stoa because I asked. I went to a tournament and watched a friend compete, fell asleep in his round, and then decided, I want to do this. And then we went to our club and started competing. My mom begged, crying for me to quit. And I said, no, I really want to do this. And then 5 years later, I graduated out of Stoa as an alumni. So even if you've never heard of Stoa, or even if you've never heard of homeschool Christian speech and debate, or even just Christian speech and debate, you're still going to have some idea of what it is, because the title is very self-explanatory, speech and debate. There's not very much that it entails. So when you're walking in, the first appeal is, oh, I can learn to debate. I can have a conversation now. And then as you get further in, you start exploring conversations like apologetics or Mars Hill, where you start to actually discuss the Word of God. And then they're being exposed to these beliefs that they really do need to know about. And then they're also being surrounded by these people that are wanting to have a conversation with them and are wanting to give them this truth that is absolutely life-changing and is eternal and is going to save them forever.
What a shame for the homeschoolers that don't know about homeschool speech and debate. I think a lot of it is just we're continuing to grow, and families obviously have a lot of choices of activities for their students to be a part of. A lot of people know about sports. We all know about football, baseball, but knowing that debate isn't something that's just for public schoolers, that it exists and it exists for homeschoolers, is something that Stoa is definitely doing a great job of trying to get the message out about. And it's starting with those local clubs, those abilities for families to go to their co-op where their kid's taking science classes and say, my kid's involved in this. It's been a great thing for our family. And bringing those people in, and then across different co-op groups, across different homeschool groups, we're expanding the community, getting to know more people, and welcoming more faces into our local tournaments.
My experience has been really positive, and so has the experience of my kids. I do have a son with challenges with speech, and I'm so appreciative of the coaches at Stoa, because I said I really don't want him to be limited by this. I want him to be able to participate, and he has been treated like everyone else, and he's been allowed to take on any challenges he wants to take on and go as far as he wants to go. So that has been fantastic.
I think one of the biggest things that I hear when I tell people you should consider getting your kids involved, they hear another extracurricular activity that I need to run them around to or to tag on to what I'm doing. And every time I meet a new parent, I'm just like, please let it work for you. Let it take burden off. Let it reduce your pressure for homeschooling. It doesn't need to be another thing to add. It can become your economics credit. It can become your history credit. It can become a research project to do for an expository speech where they have to, come up with how they fought in World War II in the trenches and show that. And so it can actually add and relieve pressure instead of being another thing. And that's the first look I get when I suggest people, oh no, another thing. But it can become the thing that makes everything else worth doing. It really motivates kids in every other subject because they take this with them to competition.
Really, what you're learning in Stoa will help with every other facet of your life. So I'm a music teacher right now, so I definitely am very involved in music, but the lessons I've learned in Stoa have helped me with self-promotion, have helped me with creating my own schedule and researching how to do what I need to do. So I've found so much use for the lessons in Stoa, and something that has nothing to do with being a lawyer or the traditional things that people imagine that speech and debaters use with that.
Stoa, I think, is unique in that there's a push for excellence, which is undeniable. If you've been to a tournament, you can see it. At the same time, there's a very wide open, gradual on-ramp, for lack of a better term. You do not actually have to be very good to join, to participate. You can sign up for 8 speech events if the tournament will let you, and you can do all of them, and people will encourage you. If you're auditioning for a show and you're trying out for the swim team and like almost anything else, there's a standard that you have to meet in order to really do anything at all. In Stoa, There isn't. We welcome you at whatever level you are, whatever skills you've got, terrific. Welcome aboard, and boy, oh boy, be willing to grow those skills, because they are going to grow. That's unique. That means that truly this is the big tent, this is the everybody on board, and that's the kind of world I want my children to live in, and that's the kind of world view I want for them to develop.